Smashing. Lovely to see you again. I don't know if you remember, we last spoke on your tour van about, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago.
I do
Um,
remember. Yeah.
oh, that was maybe a 10
Yeah,
minute
yeah,
conversation. We were chatting for half an hour.
yeah. And in the van, like usually don't do interviews in the van like that, but yeah, I totally remember that.
Yeah, I was quite in depth. It was a really good conversation. So I was thinking, what have I can I ask him that I haven't asked before? Because I think we talked about everything. I'll start off with obviously what's happened since then. The biggest one I've not had a chance to speak to you since last year was I Am Woman came out almost a year ago exactly. Um,
Yeah,
and you've been over here touring on that before. This is effectively your second tour on that, I believe, in the UK. I didn't
that's
get a chance
right.
to
Yeah.
catch you last year. Um, how have the sales of the album been? In my opinion, it's your best album so far, and there's a lot of albums there. I absolutely adore I Am Woman. It's the best one you've done. How's it done in terms of sales compared to your older stuff?
I think it's going great. I mean, because it's on Napalm Records now, like
Yeah.
we don't can't really track it internally that well. So, you know, but yeah, it's been really well received, and I'm glad that you think it's the best album because I'm with you. It's a damn fine album.
Mhm. I found your previous albums, you pick good singles, and there's a handful of tracks that just stand out so well. But on this album, every single one, even the ones where I wasn't familiar with the source material, you're like, I like this.
Hey,
This is
we
good.
write great songs. What can I say?
This is true. Um, the one thing that did stand out, obviously, with this one, am I right in saying this is the first time you had guest vocalists on an album? Have you had anybody guesting with you before?
Well, on the first album, we had Disco Mountain Man guest with us
Oh, of course. Yeah.
because he wasn't in the band at that point. Trying to think if there's, you may be right. You may be right that we never had a guest feature before.
I
That's
was,
it's weird to me. We had Alex Skolnick on guitar,
mhm.
um,
Oh, it was,
but yeah, as a guest vocalist, I think this might be the first album. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I want to do more of it. It's fun.
it seems to work. I mean, the new video just came out for Respect
Yeah,
as well, and that's featuring. I'm going to get the name here because I have to admit it's not somebody else familiar with. Was Marcy Harriel?
that's right.
Now I did a quick look up because it wasn't a name I was familiar with. She's been in Rent and a few other things as well.
Yeah, yeah, she's a Broadway performer and just yeah, amazing singer,
Yeah,
amazing
I mean,
personality.
yeah, I can't fault that. I mean, you listen to the track on the album, you watch the video. She's almost part of the band. I was kind of hoping you'd be bringing her on tour with you, but maybe for one song that might be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, yeah, we've been wanting to play this live with her, and we still haven't found a single date yet that has worked out. But um, with the Respect video, we're actually sitting on that for a while because we had this idea, and we're just never able to get it done. She's been traveling a lot, we've been traveling a lot,
Mhm.
and we just decided like let's just put out the performance video. But I was really excited about this idea we had, and maybe one day we'll do it. But the idea was that we had put up posters around the neighborhood looking for a new roommate,
Mhm.
in the tragedy apartment.
Yeah.
And she comes by and, makes us get her shit together.
Mhm.
It would have been a great concept video. We'll see. Maybe it'll still happen.
Yeah, you never know. I've seen bands do multiple videos for the same song before anyway, so it
Yeah.
could be done. Was she on your radar when you were looking to record the song, or was it somebody you saw on TV? Uh,
Yeah, I know her. There's this collective here in New York called the Losers Lounge,
mhm. Oh
um,
yeah.
and they do like a series of shows every couple months, and invite a bunch of guest singers for each show. And so I've been performing with Marcy with that for years,
Awesome.
and just like I've been thinking of like it's so funny that you say that we hadn't had guest singers because I'm always thinking about guest singers, and she's the first one that we did it with. Um, oh, we did Mrs. Smith on this album too. Mrs. Smith,
Yes. Yeah.
a guest vocal and guitar. Um, but yeah, Marcy has been like, she's like, you know, as awesome as she is on that recording, like seeing her live, she's a force. And I thought like it'd be like really a match made in heaven slash hell to do something with tragedy.
Yeah, it was if it was a gamble, it paid off.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a gamble. It was a sure thing.
It's been a year now, obviously, since the album came out. I'll get rid of the obvious question. Have you got anything else new that you're planning, or are you thinking about starting to work on another album? Do you have some kind of push from the label going, right, it's been 12 months, give us something else?
Well, we're thinking about stuff. I mean, right now we're about to we've been working on the new tour for this year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where a lot of the creative energy has gone the last few months. But we are thinking about doing some original music.
Nice. Okay.
So that could be like, you know, the next level for tragedy.
No, a bit different. Because I mean, the tour is actually, I mean, we think the UK, it sounds like quite a big tour because you're doing about 12-ish dates in the UK, but then either side of that, you've got an awful lot of other dates elsewhere as well, haven't you? It's quite full on.
Yeah, we're about to get really busy here. Yeah, we have 11 cities in 11 days in the UK,
Yeah.
starting March 28th. And then come back and do some shows in the US. Some of them, and then we have a lot of show, and then we return to UK and Germany in August for a lot of festivals. And we have a lot of stuff that we haven't added to the calendar yet. It's just not announced yet, but stay tuned. There's a lot in the works.
Oh, good stuff. I mean, talking about life on the road, I've noticed a gap in the tour schedule. I'm not sure if I've maybe misread it, but I think just before the Glasgow show, you got a couple of days free. Is that right? Or are you actually full on for the whole UK day?
No, it's 11 days.
11 shows in 11 days. Because I was just wondering, I know we always ask bands, or people think of bands when they tour, it's great, you must see all these wonderful places, and literally you see them out of a bus window and then you're loading and then you're doing the show. When you guys are on the road, when you have got some downtime, maybe while it's on the bus, what sort of stuff do you guys get up to? Is it legal? Is it anything you can tell us about? Do you have any nice hobbies to kill the time?
There's a lot of this.
Doom scroll.
You know, try to take it in, right, as best we can. You're totally right. It's like you see, you know, what's outside your window as you're driving. See a hotel if you're staying at hotels, and see the venue. And whenever I have time and energy and stuff like that, I at least try to get a walk around the venue. And then the really fun thing is performing for people, and then, you know, meeting people who, you know, work at the venue, meeting our fans and everything like that. It's a very rewarding experience, but it's definitely a different way to travel than being a tourist. Like I've like all these years I've been touring in the UK, like I feel like I've been in one person's house the whole time. Like I have no idea how people live. I'm like, you know, I know the high street, I know the venue, I know the travel lodge, and I'm like, that's life, right? Oh, Weatherspoons.
Yeah, there's one right around the corner from the venue you're playing in Glasgow.
All right, there we go. There's one right around the corner from every venue we've played.
I don't think you're wrong. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let other people judge on that one. Going back to the music side of things, how do you pick the songs you're going to do? I mean, you've done a staggering number of albums. If people just hop to your Bandcamp page, and I heartily recommend that people do, and pick up the back catalogue. I'm guessing from what I saw earlier, 10 or 12 albums, maybe
it's
some
12 albums
EPs in
now,
there, yeah.
12 albums. One of them is a live album, and one of them is a compilation album.
Okay, so you've got, if we say 8 tracks an album, that's you've got 80 songs, give or take, that you've recorded. Ballpark.
Yeah, we've done a lot of songs, and you know, of course, when we first started, it was the concept was heavy metal versions of the Bee Gees disco hits, right?
Yeah.
And And then after that, we're like, okay, well, we can do some of the Bee Gees non-disco hits and stuff that they wrote for other people, like Islands in the Stream, or that they wrote the theme song to Grease.
Yeah.
Uh, but then we're like, we started doing like, I love Bee Gees pre-disco catalog. I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
But in our shows, we started playing some stuff some of their pre-disco stuff, and felt like the energy wasn't coming back from the audience on it.
Mhm.
And it's weird because we get a lot of requests,
Yeah.
they come in to do like, hey, do New York mining disaster or something like that. But like in the live context, there just wasn't that like that kind of tragedy brand of excitement. So then we're like, well, let's try doing like Hot Stuff by Donna Summer. And we
Mhm.
do that, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. That totally connects with people. Um, we always try to find like the ideal tragedy song is like, oh my God, I can't believe tragedy is doing this. That's insane. You know, um, there aren't, it, there is really only one, It's Raining Men.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of the ultimate song in that category. But yeah, always try to find something that like you'd be, if just the concept alone would excite you.
Mhm.
But then there are a lot of times that the idea of doing a song, we have the idea and we pursue it, and it's a dead end,
Yeah.
and so we kind of let it go. But then other times, like I Will Survive on the latest album.
Mhm.
Basically, since we started doing non-Bee Gees material, we're like, I Will Survive. That'd be a great song.
Yeah.
This huge disco hit, this kind of meaningful anthem to people. It'd be incredible. And then we work on it. It's like, wow, this song just goes in circles, doesn't it? and but then for the latest album, I Am Woman, we're
Mhm.
like, wouldn't it be great if we did I Will Survive? And like, yeah, we tried it. And then like, I remember I was kind of having this lucid dream one day,
Mhm.
um, uh, about this song, how it could be kind of taken apart and put back together. And so sometimes sometimes that's how it happens. Sometimes it happens over like, what is that, like, you know 12 years from the idea to actually doing a recording of it. And then sometimes it's just like automatic. Sometimes like you come up with the, kind of a riff, like for Staying Alive. It's just
Mhm.
like come up with that riff and do the song, kind of dial in those harmonies, and it's like,
Yeah. It just fits.
relatively automatic.
Mhm. I mean, you mentioned Rainy Men. It's one I was going to come back to actually. If there's a song which really launched you, admittedly several albums through, that video of that song, I think that's one that grabbed everybody. And it was just that song. And I think the bit that sticks with me is the intro, where you've gone, let's kick it off with a bit of Slayer,
Yep.
and people and you off foot people. It's like they're expecting one thing and then bang, the next thing, no, it's a gay song and it's a gay anthem. It's a wonderful piece of music, but it totally knocks you off kilter. Now, I need to go back to the older albums and try and remember if you've done this before, but I've noticed since a few more songs where you're kicking off with a very familiar riff on I Am Woman, you've got a bit of Iron Maiden, and then it blends into the song, and that's great. Is this something that you notice when you're recording them? This sounds a bit like, oh, that's got the same time signature, could we? Or is this just something where you're just messing around and it works? Or how do those bits just suddenly arrive in the songs?
I mean, when we first started, and then our first few years when we were
Mhm.
like an unsigned band and stuff like that, we were doing a lot of mashups.
Mhm.
Um, and just kind of straight up mashup. Here's an AC/DC riff and a disco song, right? um, and then it's not really it's not really legal to do that anymore. And it used to
Yeah.
be, actually, the business kind of changed, really, since we started. um, so now, like, someone will get an idea of like, here's a song I want to do, and here's an idea of what I want to do with it.
Mhm.
And, sometimes it could be as simple as like, oh, what if we did, kind of like an Iron Maiden, like the Trooper or something like that, something
Yeah.
kind of like that with this ABBA song that we're working on. But there's no simple formula to it. And I see, because we've done this so much. I feel like we've done this kind of metal reinventions of non-metal songs probably more than any other artist ever. Um, I I I'd see other artists do it, and I see them fail a lot.
Mhm.
And it's because I think they believe that they can just be like, oh, it's a good song, and we'll just do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just not, I don't know, it's just not very creatively satisfying for a listener.
So it's obviously not just the studio music we're talking about here, but your live show too. I mean, I've seen you a handful of times, not as often as I would like. If I'm honest, I'm really looking forward to the show in Glasgow. 4th of April, folks, by the way, we still have 3 pairs of tickets left to give away as competition prizes. Sell the show. I mean, I'm not going to tell everybody how good they are. I want you to tell me how good you are. Why should people go and watch Tragedy over the next
I'm
couple of
always
weeks?
telling everybody how good we are. We're the best band in the world. That's all there is to it.
Don't undersell
Um,
yourself.
it it's really like, it's really fun and funny. Like,
Mhm.
we're like a bunch of kind of odd yet handsome men in very tight, shiny clothing. And it's like, imagine if the Bee Gees were metal, like, with those big harmonies and singing really high, but like we just sing it harder. Um, just we take great pride in our musicianship. So we don't want to be just like, some dumb joke that you get tired of.
Yep.
Um, and we have Lance the Towel Boy. He's an idiot.
I was going to
Um,
ask about Lance. Yeah.
yeah, I can't really explain him, but if you see him, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. I was going to, it was actually one of my last questions, but I will ask, but what the simple question to ask about Lance is why
Well,
and
we
how?
we so we tend to accumulate a lot of moisture during the
Mhm.
show. So early on, we realized this, and we thought, well, we should have someone to towel us off. And one of the guys in the band had an intern, and so we brought Lance onto the stage to towel us off. Basically, that was it. That was his
Mhm.
only job, and we can't get rid of him. I mean, we try to leave him behind at the hotels, everywhere,
Mhm.
and somehow he keeps on finding his way back, and then kind of worming his way into the show. And I don't know. I guess he's just become part of the act.
Never mind. One of these days, you will manage to dump off the side of a ferry, and he won't be able to swim fast enough to catch up.
Oh, but
Not to give you
that would
ideas.
be criminal.
Not if he slipped.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Sorted.
Um, but I mean, just to round up on the live show this time, you're coming up with quite the. I'm going to say something which you would probably say on stage. You're coming here with quite the package this time, aren't you guys?
Oh, yeah.
And the package I'm talking about this time is Ward 16, who are following you around on your dates throughout the UK. Ward 16 are big friends of ours. We've been following them since year one, and they're actually staying at my house after the Glasgow show for the second time.
All
Um,
right. Party at Ian's.
they are lovely, lovely people. How did you end up inviting them on tour with you?
Well, we played with them in Manchester, back in 2018.
Yep.
And, so many times, like if you're touring day after day, like a lot of times, like local support bands, while they're playing, it's time for you to get your head together, kind of get dressed, and, kind of, we kind of like to kind of save our energy and kind of get in the zone and everything.
Mhm.
Well, we hear this band from the dressing room, and like, yeah, check this out. And then like like the sound drew us all of us out of the dressing room, and then we see the show and our jaws drop. You know, it's just such a theatrical and fun and unique show to take in. And this is actually the first time we've taken a UK band on tour with us. And we wanted to do that this next tour. And they're at the top of the list, and they want to do it, of course.
Well, we're fully expecting to see you guys in the circus pit when they're playing. It's for those who haven't got the tickets yet. Honestly, I don't think you'll get a better value ticket. I mean, you're still playing the fairly small, intimate venues, which means the ticket prices are fairly low. Both bands, I've seen them several times before. They put on a great show each. To get both of you for whatever the tickets are costing this time, it's not a lot. It's a great night's entertainment, and it's not just a night's music, it is a night's entertainment, and that's a personal opinion, having seen you both several times. So I believe are the tickets left for pretty much most of the shows?
There are, yeah. At this point, there are. Yep.
Brand. Well, we're going to keep plugging them anyway, because like I say, we love you and we love Ward 16, and we want to see you selling out as much as possible with the venues. So we will see you in Glasgow,
Right.
which is kind of mid-tourish, I think. And people can catch you at the dates, which will be either below this video or somewhere above us if you're looking at us on our website, with all the ticket links and everything like that. So yeah, don't get confused. And as I said, for anybody who wants to head to the Glasgow show as well, we've still got a couple of pairs of tickets to give out. In fact, I'll get you to give us a question we can ask people. It can be a trivia one, or it can be just something you want to know about people, that we can get them to post in the comments, and I'll pick the best one out, and they'll win a pair of tickets.
Okay. You want a tragedy trivia question?
And be a tragedy trivia question, or just something you want to know about people that
Okay.
we can just pick the best answer out for.
All right. When tragedy first started, we had a group of women backing singers, and they had a name. They had a collective name. So name the group.
Name the group. Okay. At the very end of this recording, once I've said thank you and goodbye, I'm going to get you to give me the answer to that.
Okay.
Smashing. Mo-Royce, thank you so much for your time. I am genuinely looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. It's been far too long since I've caught you. Yeah. It's 19th of March now, and we were like 2 weeks away. It's 2 weeks away. 4th of April. Wow. That's going to be a good night. So we'll see you then. Safe journey on your way over, and thank you so much for your time again.
My pleasure. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thank you.